Well, after a beautiful weekend, the rain is here, and it's here to stay for at least a next couple of days. So we've got a very widespread swath of moisture all across the southeast, and that's going to continue to be the case throughout this morning. So if you're trying to get out on the roads on the earlier side, allow a little extra time because some of this rain is becoming heavy at times. Fortunately, as the day moves on, we'll start to see some of this rain become more isolated this afternoon and into the evening. As far as our temperatures go, still going to be fairly close to where we should be this time of year. However, not quite as warm as yesterday, where we topped out in the upper 60s. Very unusual for this time in December. Today will be a little bit closer to average, as highs will top out in the mid to upper 50s across the region. We'll continue to see mild weather stick around through about midweek, and then much colder conditions will return across the area as this rain finally exits the area by that point. Now, as we time things out for today, again, that morning commute is going to be on the wet side, but notice as we get towards late morning and into the early afternoon, this becomes more isolated. So it's not going to be an all-day event. It's just going to be one of those days, especially the first half of the day, where you will need to maybe allow a few extra minutes. Otherwise, this afternoon, certainly going to be an improvement compared to where we've been lately. Now, as we move on into Tuesday will bring another round of rain, so we're not completely out of the woods just yet. It'll start out more isolated during the morning, but then as the day moves on, we'll likely get into a few heavier pockets of rain. So looking at the big picture here, this is towards the very end of the day on Tuesday. However, this is still going to be working into our forecast Tuesday afternoon through the overnight. We are looking at scattered showers, even a few brief heavy downpours, and can't completely rule out that possibility of seeing a few embedded thunderstorms. Right now, that threat appears to be low, but we'll keep a close eye on it. Moving on into Wednesday morning in particular, we see mainly rain. However, there is that small opportunity that higher elevations could potentially see some flakes, especially towards the Tennessee-North Carolina line. If we do see that, it will be short-lived, but there's still that possibility. And we've been seeing that really the last couple of days with every single run. That's been the latest data that's been really producing that possibility across those higher elevations. Otherwise, the rest of us will continue to dry on out as the day moves on Wednesday, and then much colder air will begin to settle on in as we head on into the rest of this week. So the 4-day looks like this. We are looking at impact days for today and tomorrow, mainly for morning rain this morning and then isolated this afternoon. And then as we head on into Tuesday, scattered rain will be possible in a few embedded thunderstorms, still keeping the mild weather around through midweek. But as we do begin to dry on out Wednesday afternoon, that colder air will start to settle on it, and that'll stick with us through the end of this week into this weekend. And that'll also bring in that small possibility that we could see a few flakes across higher elevations. Otherwise, much drier conditions will return by late week. Well, after a beautiful weekend, unsettled weather is here to stay now through midweek. However, this rain that does fall is going to be very beneficial. We've already seen a good amount of moisture already associated with this line of showers that has been stretching all the way back towards Alabama and has worked its way across the Carolinas and Georgia. Now, we're not completely out of the woods just yet, but we will see some drier conditions beginning to develop later this afternoon. Highs for today are going to be trending near normal or within a couple of degrees, topping out in the mid to upper 50s. Not quite as warm as yesterday, but for today, this is right on track for where we should be. Now, as far as the rest of the afternoon goes, yes, the clouds are going to be locked in, and you're still going to see occasional showers here and there. Not quite as steady and as widespread as earlier in the day, but this is going to still be one of those things you might be dodging here and there. It'll continue through the overnight, and then as we move on into Tuesday, much of the same. You'll see still plenty of dry time, but we'll start out with some isolated to widely scattered showers before likely a heavier batch of showers and even potentially thunderstorms begin to develop later in the afternoon through the early evening. So tomorrow's evening commute could be a little bit on the messy side as we are looking at some pretty decent downpours as of right now. And again, an isolated storm or two can't be completely ruled out. This will continue on and off throughout Tuesday night and into Wednesday morning. So yes, you'll still see some breaks in some of the activity, but waking up Wednesday morning, the final round of this rain will begin to work its way further east and out of our area. As that colder air filters in, could see a few flakes across the highest elevations of western North Carolina, but that'll be about the extent of it. Otherwise, the rest of the day, we will continue to dry things out, and then that'll set us up for much cooler conditions to follow. As far as rainfall potential goes, we'll need to fine-tune this over the next 24 hours or so, but all said and done, it's looking very likely that areas from Greenville pushing south could see anywhere from 1 inch to 2 inches on average, and lesser amounts the further north you go. Again, this is going to need to be fine-tuned, but this is what we're looking at right now. So the 4-day looks like this, continuing to see some isolated to widely scattered showers this afternoon, but certainly much drier than this morning. Moving into Tuesday, another impact day due to scattered showers and storms possible, especially during the afternoon and evening. That'll continue into Wednesday morning before we do finally dry things out Wednesday afternoon. Following that, much drier weather will begin to settle on in, but that will come with quite the cool down.